Alright, so we're going to look at a couple different Hougen Annular cutter type products here. This is probably the most popular one. So here we've got the Hougen 12,000 series Annular Cutters. Basically comes in a little shell like this. This one is the 1 inch by 2 inch depth of cut. They're available from 7/16 all the way up to usually 2 inch in diameter, and in 1 inch depth of cut. 2 inch depth of cut, you can get 3 inch as well. These are the most popular 1 or by 2s, and they all have basically the standard 3/4 inch arbor shank with the 2 flat spots, or also called like a well-known shank. The difference on the Hougen ones, that there is a difference, and they are not the most expensive on the market, and they're not the least expensive, but we feel these will give you the best bang for your buck. The first thing that comes to that you can see is the thickness of the wall. So you've got lots of meat there. You know that you're going to get a nice cutter, and you've got some different tooth geometries as well. So this is one of the patented areas on the teeth here, but we can see kind of a little fishtail on the side. So all this helps protect the edges, makes so that you get longer lasting annular cutter, better cuts, and just better overall tool life. The other advantage we see the Hougen is the relief on the side here. So we see this little edge here, so that as you're cutting through the material, you're not going to get the whole surface that's rubbing on the side. So you're only going to get this kind of margin here, and then after that you've got the relief. So you get less rubbing on the side, which means less horsepower for your drill, which means you can drill, you can feed faster. The other advantages are nice gullets that can be reground. There's an ID taper for the slug ejection, and again the tooth geometry. So this one here goes with the recommended pilot. So the Hougen pilots have they're a little bit bigger in diameter, but the reason is that you won't get them jamming in. So other annular cutters run 1/4 inch diameter pilots, and sometimes you get them jamming in, which ruins the pilot and ruins your cutter. So these ones here, they're made of a little bit of cobalt steel, and so they can handle the work. And the only reason you would need another one is if the guys lose it on the floor. So basically they just slide in like regular annular cutters. In your arbor, we know that we're running a spring-loaded arbor, and the slug will slide on the inside. This is a 12,000 series. This was the 1 inch by 2. We've got a larger version here just to show. Let's see. So this is a 2 by 2. And of course, we've got tons of stock here. We can ship the same day. So give us a call if you get anything. So we see obviously more teeth, more diameter. We can see the wall thickness here. We see the margin on the side. And again, the annular cutters, we know that if we'd have a twist drill bit this size, drilling a hole would take, not forever, but would take a lot of power and would take a lot of time. We know also that at the center, we've got virtually 0 speed, and if we're running a twist drill bit, you've got really 2 flutes, maybe a little bit more, but here you've got variable flutes producing chips. Everything shares a chip load and makes that you get a better cut, faster cut, and a burr-free cut. So again, this one here is a 2 inch, same pilot. There are different pilots for the smaller diameter cutters. This is the one that fits this guy. The other things that we have in annular cutters are the carbide tipped. So if you're running any weird materials, or look for more performance a little bit, or longevity. So the carbide tip cutter, available now in 1 inch and 2 inch depth of cut, and we can see the brazed on carbide on the edges here. A little bit less tooth geometry, but a little bit on here, and basically for stainlesses or other hard materials, wear plate, no problem on with these. And these you basically run. The resharpening is not really available for these guys, so you just run it until you can't cut anymore. As opposed to the other guys where we can resharpen. We resharpened up to 15 times, so you really get some good value again, the same shank, 3/4 inch, 2 flat spots, and this is marketed under the Copperhead brand name from Hougen. And the pilots on these is actually a little bit smaller, so make sure you run the right pilot. Again, we've got the kind of little keyway or the coolant line there. And this is this pilot here for this cutter. Then we also have the Rotolock series. So the Rotolock series is developed for the smaller drills, so the right angle drills. And you can see the arbor is a little bit different. So it's the kind of quick in, so it enables the drill to be nice and compact, and they don't have room for the 3/4 with the 2 flat spots, that kind of arbor. So this is just a kind of a quick in. This one is actually a 3/4 inch depth of cut. They also come in 1 inch depth of cuts. So these are for the HMD 115s and 150 series of drills. The difference on the tooth geometry here is that you'll actually cut your ID first, your inside, and your OD after, so that it's actually ground for stack cutting. So all these other cutters we can grind for you as a stack cutting. So meaning that you can go through 2 thicknesses of steel without stopping. So rather than taking out the first slug, pulling out, taking that off, stopping, you can actually do your 2 thicknesses. So that comes in common in truck frames, for example, or other areas where you want to save a little bit of time. You can go and do both. So the slug actually goes on the inside, and it doesn't have that little hat on the side, and it kind of goes right on the inside, and then you can go ahead and proceed with the second thickness. So these are some of the Hougen Annular cutters that are available. We've got tons of sizes in stock, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a buzz.